Philemon is one of the shortest books in the Christian Greek scriptures, but from the perspective of Jehovah's Witnesses, and as explained in publications on jw.org. It conveys profound lessons about Christian love, forgiveness, and brotherhood. Although only one chapter long, this letter from the Apostle Paul to a Christian man named Philemon reveals key principles that Jehovah's Witnesses often highlight in study articles, Bible discussions, and congregation meetings. Let's explore what we know about Philemon and why this letter is so meaningful. Historical and scriptural context. The letter to Philemon is generally believed to have been written around 60 to 61 CE, during Paul's first imprisonment in Rome. In it, Paul addresses Philemon, a Christian living in the region of Colossae or possibly nearby Laodicea. The contents of the letter revolve around Onesimus, who had been a slave in Philemon's household but ran away and somehow encountered the Apostle Paul. According to the narrative in the letter, Onesimus became a Christian during his time with Paul and was now willing to return to Philemon and mend their relationship. Jehovah's Witnesses understand that this epistle is not merely a personal plea but an inspired writing, included in the Bible for its enduring moral and spiritual value. Even though it reads like a private correspondence, it was circulated among early Christian congregations, and eventually among all true Christians, to demonstrate how spiritual brotherhood changes interpersonal relationships. Philemon's character. From Paul's words, we learn that Philemon was a man of faith and love who had a Christian congregation meeting in his home. Paul commends him for refreshing the hearts of the holy ones, which suggests that Philemon was known for his hospitality and generosity toward fellow believers. Jehovah's Witnesses see Philemon as a positive example of a Christian who tries to live by Christ's teachings in an otherwise challenging cultural environment. The relationship with Onesimus. Onesimus had fled from Philemon, likely putting them at odds. Culturally, in the 1st century, a runaway slave might face severe consequences if returned to his master, which added to the letter's gravity. However, once Onesimus becomes a Christian, Paul appeals to Philemon to receive him back no longer as a slave but, as more than a slave, a brother. Jehovah's Witnesses note that the Christian congregation, then and now, transcends social distinctions. Whether someone was a slave, a free person, wealthy, poor, Jew, or Gentile, everyone was, and is, an equal member in God's family. The letter underscores that our spiritual ties in the congregation run deeper than social or economic status. Paul's approach. Jehovah's Witnesses often highlight Paul's respectful yet firm tone. Paul could have given a directive as an apostle, but instead he writes, "I am appealing to you on the basis of love." This approach fits the Christian principle of showing love and respect for a fellow believer's conscience and free will. Paul makes it clear that he values Philemon's right to make the decision himself rather than being coerced. Paul even offers to repay any debt that Onesimus might owe, indicating that he is personally willing to shoulder any financial burden. This display of humility and love demonstrates how Jehovah's Witnesses are encouraged to handle sensitive issues within the congregation, by appealing to Bible principles, showing empathy, and always aiming to preserve peace and unity. Why it matters for Jehovah's Witnesses today. Brotherhood overcomes barriers. The situation between Philemon and Onesimus reminds modern witnesses that all humans can be united as Christian brothers and sisters under Jehovah God, regardless of differences in background, status, or past mistakes. Forgiveness and reconciliation. The letter serves as a model of how to forgive and reconcile in a loving manner. Although the wrongdoing, Onesimus fleeing, was serious, Paul's counsel encourages Philemon to show mercy. Likewise, Jehovah's Witnesses today strive to follow Jesus' example of forgiveness within the congregation. Christ-like leadership. Paul's approach exemplifies how elders and mature Christians might counsel others in the congregation, by using reason, gentleness, and a heartfelt appeal from the Scriptures, rather than by issuing cold commands. Confidence in Jehovah's standards. The very inclusion of Philemon in the inspired Scriptures shows that Jehovah values interpersonal relationships. The Christian community is meant to reflect divine love and moral excellence, thus magnifying the qualities of Jehovah God. Additional insights from jw.org. Jehovah's Witnesses can find supplementary insights in articles and study guides on jw.org. Over the years, Watchtower publications have delved into the historical context of 1st century Colossae, the nature of servitude in that era, and how the Bible doesn't condone harsh servitude but emphasizes the Christian bond of unity. Often, these articles highlight how the letter to Philemon is an expression of unity, Christian equality, and the power of the good news to transform lives. Principles that Jehovah's Witnesses believe should guide them today. Practical takeaway. In the congregations of Jehovah's Witnesses, the letter to Philemon is often referenced when discussing the power of the Bible to change people's hearts, the need to settle disputes peacefully, and the importance of viewing one another as part of God's family. For instance, if conflicts arise among believers, they are encouraged to recall the model set by Paul, Philemon, and Onesimus and to resolve matters lovingly, free from resentment or retaliation. Please share and like and please subscribe.